Hi everybody, my name is Bárbara Marrero and welcome to Unmasked with Bárbara. This is a show where I interview strong women from all walks of life in hopes to bring light in the midst of chaos. We're unmasking and talking all things beauty, body positivity, entrepreneurship, and so much more.
Like no other option, so we don't want to think about the other option.
Yes.
It's kind of like that meme of Cardi B was like,
What was the reason?
I was like so pissed.
You did not fight through all that you fought through to stop here.
Subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for an incredible journey. Are you ready? Let's go. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. Today we have an amazing woman of God who is not only inspirational to women of all ages, but she's an entrepreneur. She hosts dinner parties. I've been to one of them and they're absolutely amazing. I want to thank you so much for being here with me and for just doing this and being a part of the show and the vision and what I had in mind. And
me.
Yeah,
here we are.
Yeah, all dressed up, looking cute. Digging that blazer. As soon as she walked in, I was like, oh my God, I need that. I want it.
It's a very special occasion.
Yes, it is
like
a special
today.
occasion.
Thanks.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about the Dinner Party Project and what you do and what inspired you to start that.
Absolutely. So the Dinner Party Project has been around for about 5.5 years, which is pretty crazy at this point. It started in 2014. And the purpose is really to gather people from all walks of life around a dinner table. So we do the craft cocktails, the 4 courses, the wine, the Credo coffee. And we're just inviting people to come and kind of be who they are and to share their story around the dinner table. So whether that's dinner for 8 or whether it's our large scale dinner parties that kind of celebrate the community and the arts, or whether that's private events or corporate parties or kind of anything that is like meaningful around food and drink and really authentic conversation is what the Dinner Party Project is all about.
And I have so much fun in them. I've been to a few of them already and literally you meet people that you would never think you would ever talk to at the grocery store, at the supermarket. It's just a table filled with strangers and you get to know all these different walks of life, all these different personalities, and it really opens up your mind to all these different people that are going through different struggles and going through, you know, different things in life that make you realize you're not alone and we're all in this together in one way, shape, or form.
And that was really like the main purpose because I wanted to get people outside of their own social circles, right?
Yeah.
So we hang out with our friends and family and that's not going to change. But sitting down and sharing a meal with somebody that is kind of like way outside of like your normal world and to get a different perspective, to get a different background, to hear what they're struggling with, you know, and seeing, I think, a lot of the overlap of humanity that we all have a lot of things that we're dealing with, how people have like what their stories look like, how they have moved into different things, how they moved out of things, like it's really cool to see. You just kind of like we set the table and you kind of never know what's going to happen. You never know how people are going to connect and
the different dynamics, different conversations every time.
Every dinner is different, right? Because it's like you bringing yourself to the table and then whatever other strangers come that night, it's just and then the guest host being able to kind of like lead everybody through meaningful conversation, asking interesting questions.
That's so beautiful. And not only that, but we have amazing good food. Delicious chefs come out and cook up these 4 courses. Yes. So good. Tell us about that and the chefs that you've had come and the inspirations behind the meals. How does that work?
Absolutely. So over 5 years, we've had a lot of different chefs come in and out of the Dinner Party Project, and we love being able to work with them. It's been really fun to see some like up and coming chefs. Like we had Farm and House, which is now at East End Market, and Buttermilk Bakery, and now they have their own shop. And just different catering companies, Butcher and Baker, Art of Taste. So being able to partner with them and being able to showcase what they do. And so basically when guests come, they give us any dietary restrictions that they might have. And we make sure the guest knows that. But then the guest...
Pescatarian over here, please.
Pescatarian, right? So we can do some seafood for you and fish. And so being able to like let them have creative control and do the 4 courses however they want. And then be able to accommodate our guests, you know, for dinner for 8 as well.
Nice. So exciting. And what was your inspiration? Like, what were you doing before the Dinner Party Project that led you to want to do this?
Yes. So I have been doing events for 15 years now, which is pretty crazy.
It's a long time.
So it's a long time. Yeah. So doing events kind of in a different arena as far as like conferences and large scale logistics. Yeah. But I've been working in that for a long time. And then I had also started my own, another little business selling vintage clothes and styling, wardrobe styling and different things like that. But I had gotten to a kind of a place in 2013 where I was just working so much and I just kind of like wasn't really feeling it, feeling like good where I was. And so I took a sabbatical and just kind of took a break.
Wow.
And I cleaned out my savings account and I traveled to Australia and New Zealand for 3 months.
What?
I just kind of took a pause on Orlando for a little bit. And I just knew that I needed to kind of like not let life pass me by. And there's so much beauty in the world and there's so much to see and there's so much that we need to like slow down and take advantage of, like if we can. So I was just at a point where I could do that. And so, I took this time to kind of rest and explore and adventure. And I didn't really have an idea of like, I'm going to come back with my next or new idea. It was just like, I want to just breathe for a minute. And so
that's beautiful.
That was really a beautiful time. But I came back from that trip after 3 months, and I kind of was in a weird space in life. I had no job because I had given my part-time jobs away, and then I had no money because I really like cleaned out my savings account. I really didn't have a real direction of like where I wanted to go next. And so, around that time, a friend of mine asked me, what brings you joy and what brings you life and what are you not doing that you should be doing? And so I thought about that, and I was like, I guess if I could do anything that I wanted to, I would throw dinner parties. I love eating. I love drinking.
Yeah.
I love the conversation that happens around a table with kind of like a meaningful intention of like asking questions. And I kind of did that intrinsically already with, friends. And so I have lived here for a long time. I've lived here now for 20 years, which is mind blowing. But so I just, I thought like, I know a lot of people, you meet people socially, but you kind of make the same small talk. And I was like, I don't know those people very well. I don't know them beyond kind of like basics. And then I've got some really deep friendships with people that are so talented and creative and generous, like in Orlando. And then I was like, I want to meet some new people myself. And so I was like, well, I've got this idea, I'll throw everyone's name into a hat of people that want to participate. I'll pull out 7 random names and I'll invite them to my home, which I could fit 8 people around my dinner table. So myself plus 8 strangers, kind of. At the beginning, it was kind of mostly people that I knew.
Mostly your friends that just support you.
To support me. So that's just kind of how it started, with just that simple kind of idea and just putting it out there. And I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to show up, but I kind of have a capacity to risk things.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just put it out there and we'll see what happens.
That is so beautiful. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with finding their place in life and like finding that thing that, what are the things that you want to be doing for the rest of your life? Like what sets your soul on fire? And when you had that moment where you just kind of, and it doesn't have to be anything super out of, the ordinary. It doesn't have to be, I think I should be a lawyer, or I think I should, be doing this because these are the stereotypes and these are the things that, society has said we should be doing in order to create some sort of success. You were just like, this is what I like to do. This is what makes me happy. Let's see how I can monetize it and make something out of it. So, and I feel like a lot of people are struggling with, not being happy in where they are in their lives, or in their jobs. And they just, find themselves wanting to do these things that sets their souls on fire and makes them excited and jump out of their seat, but they don't know how to monetize it. So tell us how that process was for you. Was it scary?
Sure.
Were you nervous? Like, how did you even begin to start planning how you would turn it into the business that it is now?
Yeah, when I very first started in 2014, it wasn't really a business plan or a business model. It was really, like I said, I was in a very frustrated place. And so it was something for me, a creative outlet. And it was something that I knew that I just needed to start to start somewhere. And so I didn't have like, in the beginning, I very quickly was like learning about like all my costs. And I mean, I was kind of like losing money at the beginning. And then I was like realizing like, okay, this is how much things cost. And then really kind of adjusting from there. And so I kind of grew with it, like as it grew, and then it kind of grew into a business, you know, so I filed for LLC and all that kind of stuff. And so as it has grown, then I've kind of grown as far as like even figuring out how to monetize it, because that is one thing that is not a strength of mine. So I love the ideas. I love inviting people. I love setting the table. There's a lot of things that I do like about it. And so for whomever, I think it's like zoning in on what your strengths are, kind of like your low-hanging fruit, and then capitalizing on that. And then I have learned a lot of mistakes along the way, right?
That's how you learn.
I learned the hard way with a lot of things. And so either, you know, I've had the huge blessing, and I would not be here without that, but of support of a lot of my friends and my family, right? Yeah. And that was huge for people to like give me advice, or they would help me with events. And that really like was a shaping thing for me to get people's input, and then also know how I can show up well in the things that I do. And also you kind of touched on like happiness, and happiness is something I think knowing your purpose more so, and saying like, what is important to me and what is the outcome of what I want to do. Happiness is going to come and go. Right. So even doing this business 5 years later, there are things that are really hard, and like not every day is a joy, and not every day is happy. Right. No. But it's knowing the end goal of like what I want to do and my purpose of like connecting people. And that's
what keeps you moving forward.
That's what keeps me moving forward. And so I just kind of have to hang on to that through the hard days and the good days.
That's so good. Yeah. And, you know, I heard someone once say, you find your purpose by finding what breaks your heart the most and what are your talents. Combine those two together, and you found your purpose. You found what you should be doing in life. And I think that's so important. You know, just find the things that you enjoy doing, and literally, what are the things that breaks your heart the most, and combine them and just make something beautiful out of it, create something new. If you want to monetize it and make it into your own business, I feel like that's just something that we all should be doing. I feel like we struggle in a society, in a world where everybody's doing the day-to-day job, and too many little people are actually discovering what they should be doing. And instead of living, they're just, you know, going from the day to day and not finding that endless purpose. What is one advice that you could give to somebody that has a lot of great ideas, like all these great things that they think they should be doing, but can't settle on one thing?
I think it would go back to aligning with, I guess, figuring out what your purpose is and what your end goal is, and figuring out which one would align most with that. Figuring out how much bandwidth you have in your life to be able to give to that. So are you in a position to leave your job or your career and transition full time? Can you start somewhere small and like see kind of if you like it? Is there any way for you to intern or apprentice or assist somebody that's doing something along those lines to see if you even like it? So to see like, do I even like this? Like, am I going to make a huge shift into something that is totally different that I have no experience in? And then I get into it and I'm like, ugh, I think this is not for me. So having kind of like a side hustle and being able to start somewhere. And also like getting feedback from your friends and your family to say like, is this something that you feel like would be a good outlet for me creatively? Like for something that I want to maybe like switch my career into, like it might be really different. So does this align with what my strengths are? Or am I going to put enough in place that is going to kind of like meet me where my weaknesses are? Like I know that I have strengths here, and then there are always going to be weaknesses with whatever you pursue, but do I have enough support for those other things that I'm not going to get too frustrated and burned out and then walk away from it totally?
Let me tell you, friends and family are literally the people to go to when figuring out what you want to do and finding out if you're good at something. I think they will always give you the most genuine answer. I was listening to a podcast one time. I can't remember who it was, but I remember him saying, if your friends and family don't buy your product, then nobody else will. You know, you have to make sure that your friends and family are
honest feedback.
Right. They give you honest feedback, and they're the first ones that are going to tell you if something is good or not. So that's literally the best advice that you could give to somebody on that topic. And to the viewer that's struggling to find courage to go after their dreams, get over that fear. Like once they find, you know, that thing, oh, like, I think I can do that. Like, I think, you know, that's something that I do want to do, but I'm scared of, you know, rejection. I'm scared of failure. I'm scared of, you know, what if it goes wrong and I make a fool of myself? Like, what do you say, you know, to that? Because you've been through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all been there.
All been there.
We've all been there.
All been there. I think it's interesting to keep in mind, I think, personality types and knowing that we all have different strengths within those. And so some people like me are, it's more easier to be a risk taker, to put it out there. And then for other people, it is a little bit more of a stretch to try something that they don't know that they will automatically succeed in.
Right.
So having a really firm foundation of who you are internally, knowing, again, like what your purpose is, and then knowing who you are and thinking about what is the worst that can happen. Right. So you might lose some money. You might try something and you fail.
Yeah.
You might put something out there in the world and people don't like respond to it.
Don't give you validation.
What is the worst that can happen, right? So hopefully you're not putting yourself in like literally physically life like threatening situations. Right. But for the most part, you know, our pride and ego are a part of things. So yeah, that might get a little damaged along the way, but calculating the cost of, I guess, like, what is the worst thing that could happen? Like, I'll put this out there and, you know, like if I start a YouTube channel and nobody watches it, I mean, it's not the end of the world, right?
It's not the end of the world if nobody watches this.
you like tried, but what's the greatest thing that could happen? You could have an impact on people, or you could like be able to express your art and yourself and like who you've been created to be. And that could be the other side of risk, is like success. And then also there is the opportunity for failure and failing fast and figuring out, okay, like I put this out there, it doesn't work. I can shift, or I can make adjustments. Maybe I'll try something else, or maybe I just need to reprise what I'm doing right now and then keep on going. Yeah.
You can only go up.
You can only go up.
Literally.
Right. And if your, you know, friends or family, they're not going to leave you.
Right.
So the worst is that something didn't work out.
Right.
I've had other projects that have not worked out.
But it's okay. We win some, we lose some.
You win some and you lose some. Yeah.
And that's the circle of life. So tell us where we can find you. I want everybody to be able to find you on social media, Instagram, all of it.
Oh, all the things. Yeah. So for the Dinner Party Project, you can find us at thedinnerpartyproject.co. And then Instagram _ the Dinner Party Project _ We're on Facebook. You can just look us up on there. Social media, website. Those are probably the best ways. Awesome. Yeah, email me. Find my email. Send me an email.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
So much. Yeah,
Thank
my pleasure to be here.
Such an honor always talking to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.